So up to now we discussed about what are the features we have in Linux and what are the default directories we have in Linux that we discussed. What are the features we have in Linux means open source code we get along with the operating system, and we can modify the operating system as per our requirement if we want. It is not compulsory. And multiple applications we can run at a time, multiple users can log in at a time, and can be installed in any hardware environment. We don't need any specific hardware environment in order to install Linux operating system. And 24/7, no downtime. 24/7, it works. No need to restart the computer. If you want to do any updates, means no need to restart the computer. So that is also advantage only. And same operating system can be used for normal desktop PC and supercomputer. Operating system is same. And we have security because inbuilt IP tables are there, means firewalls are there, and SC Linux is there to secure our networking files and local files. Okay, and Linux is secure because it works with command line interface. So those who know commands, they only can configure something in Linux machine, and it doesn't support exe files. And we can encrypt a file by assigning password, and no auto run. We need to configure everything manually. So these are the main reasons why Linux wins. And it is performance wise also, comparing to Windows, Linux is fast performance wise also. And what are the default directories we have in Linux means /, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. / is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. It is similar to C in Windows. And under /, we have root. Root is the home directory for super user. As a super user, you logged in into your computer and you're creating any files or directories. The data is going to store under root. And next one is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into your computer and you're creating any files or directories, means the data is going to store under home. Boot contains bootable files and kernel up to version 6. And sbin contains super user commands. Bin contains normal user commands. USR contains default applications which comes along with operating system. Var contains system log files, variable files. Dev contains devices information. etc contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under etc. OPT contains optional applications which we install manually. That applications are stored under OPT. And media contains external devices information, means removable devices information up to RHEL 6 version onwards. And MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory? That information is stored in MNT. And run contains external devices information and kernel information from RHEL 7 onwards. So these are the directories we get along with the operating system. So later we can create our own directories also to store our personal data. That also will show in the further sessions. So this is what we discussed in our previous classes. Features of Linux and file system hierarchy of Linux. That is what we discussed. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So starting, I'm just giving only theory parts as these are the demo sessions. Okay, but still these are the topics is required also. Generally, these are required. Okay, and once OS is installed, maybe tomorrow also how to install operating system. Once OS is installed, so from there, daily labs will be there. Okay, regularly labs will be there. Once OS is installed, regularly labs will be there. Theory, practical, both will be there. So these all introductions, these are the points are required for freshers. what is this Linux, why people are coming to Linux. First of all, if you know that point, so you will understand further how to learn Linux, this all. So without knowing what is Linux, what are the features are there in Linux, so if someone is trying to learn this, means they'll get confusion. So that's why these all points were discussed. So anyone paid in for this? Anyone got the Telegram link?
No, madam. No, madam.
Okay, okay. So once you paid, don't forget to ask them for the Telegram link. So the history of Unix. History of Unix. So first Multics came in 1965, which is developed by AT&T. After that, in 1969, Unix came, which is created by Ken Thomas, and later they modified and they released it with 100% C language. They released Unix in 1973. With all the modifications, features they give, Unix in 1973. Unix source code is open. Using Unix source code, anyone can release their own operating system. The source code is open to everyone. So Red Hat Linux also came from Unix source code only. Red Hat also came from Unix source code only. So Linux operating system is different, Unix operating system is different, but source code is same. So not only Red Hat, some other vendors also using their own operating systems using Unix source code. See, these are the vendors who are using Unix source code and released their own operating system. These are the vendors and these are the operating systems. These operating systems are not free, they are charging for this. But Unix is not giving source code for free. And using Unix source code only Linux operating system, and that operating system is open to everyone. See, in IBM internally, they will use a AX server. And for their clients, they will give access for AX server, but they'll charge. Same these companies. Okay, so they are using these operating systems and the source code is Unix source code. This information no one will ask you in interviews. But this is important to know as an administrator. So these are the vendors and these are the operating systems we have. Okay. So for this all operating system, source code is from Unix only. History of Linux. So this is the official symbol for Linux operating system. Linus Torvalds is a graduate student who introduced this Linux operating system, and he gave this operating system for OSF organization, Open Source Foundation Organization. Okay, in this Linux operating system, not only Red Hat, we have different distributors, not only Red Hat. See, if you see routers means in routers, we have different distributors, not only Cisco, Juniper, Linksys, D-Link, different distributors are there, right? Same like that. This operating system also, Linux operating system also released by different distributors. So these are the distributors who are releasing Linux operating system. One more is there, that is Kali Linux. We call Hackers Linux. So that is also one of the distribution here, Linux distribution, Kali Linux. And these are the versions we have in Linux. These are the versions we have in Linux. Okay, so these are the free editions and these are the commercial editions. Whether it is free edition and commercial editions, operating system is open. From the year 2000 onwards, Red Hat started releasing commercial editions. Commercial edition means here also operating system is free only. Then what is the difference between free editions and commercial editions? Means they will charge for the technical support. They will charge for technical support. Annually something amount they will charge for the technical support. Operating system is free only here also. Okay, that is only the difference. But they will charge less. So for example, if Windows, Microsoft, they are charging for technical support 1 lakh means Red Hat charges 10,000. So much variation is there. Okay, so these are the distributors we have in Linux. And these points we already discussed. Linux open source code is open to everyone. Operating system is free. And we can edit it. Multiple users can log in. They can perform multiple tasks. Can be installed in any hardware environment. These all points I explained clearly. Can be same operating system can be installed in normal desktop PC to supercomputer. Reliable because no downtime. Security because inbuilt IP tables are there. SC Linux is there. And then it works with command line interface only. And it doesn't support exe files. And for every user, password authentication is compulsory. We can encrypt a file by assigning password. No setup files, everything we get as a configuration files. This all points I told you, right? I clearly explained it. And these all points practically means in Linux administration course you will get. And then these are the minimum hardware requirement in order to install Linux operating system. Dual core processor. And if you are using command line interface only means 512 MB RAM is enough. If you also want GUI, 1 GB. Up to 1 GB maximum is enough. Hard disk, command line interface you are using 10 GB space is enough. For graphical user interface 15 GB. Even graphical user interface I will show with 10 GB. It supports that. No issues. It works. And these are the recommended partitions in Linux. These are the recommended partitions and their sizes in Linux. We discussed about these all directories, right? So in all the directories, out of all the directories, which are the important means these are the important directories. Here we already discussed about directories, file system hierarchy. This I told you already. So in this, what are the recommended compulsory partitions to create while installing the operating system? There it is mentioned. What are this directory? I'll revise once. // it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. It is similar to C in Windows, like it is primary. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. Home is the home directory for normal user. Boot contains bootable files. Sbin contains super user commands. Bin contains normal user commands. USR contains default applications. Applications which comes along with operating system. Var contains variable files. System log files are stored under var. Dev contains devices information. Means what? Partitions information. etc contains configuration files. OPT contains optional applications. Media contains external devices information, means removable devices information. MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory? That information is stored in MNT. Run contains external devices information and kernel information from RHEL 7 version. These are the directories we have, right? Once we install Linux operating system, it creates /. Under /, these all directories comes automatically. In Windows, C is primary partition. Once we create a partition, it automatically assign a tab letter called C. A and B are reserved for floppy. It start assigning the tab letters from C. Right. So this // is similar to C. This is primary. Under C drive, if you open C drive, there are some default folders by default. There are some folders by default. Like user, administrator, documents, library, like that. Some folders comes by default, right? Same like that in Linux also. So under /, these are the directories we get. Here, what are the important partitions means? These are the recommended partitions, not compulsory partitions. These are the recommended partitions. Okay, so in this, what are the compulsory partitions? Means forward slash and swap are the compulsory partition. These all are recommended only. Then what are the compulsory partition? Means forward slash and swap are the compulsory partitions in Linux. Why forward slash is compulsory? Because forward slash is a primary partition. It is a primary partition. It is a parent directory. Forward slash is a parent directory. Under forward slash only all subdirectories are there. If there is no forward slash, nothing in Linux. So forward slash is compulsory partition while installing the operating system. Okay. And second compulsory partition is swap. What is swap? Swap is a virtual memory. Memory means what? Storage device. Right. It is a virtual memory. Physical memory means what? Memory means storage. Physical memory means we can touch and we can store it, like RAM, ROM, hard disk. These are physical memories. We can touch them and they are useful for storing. Swap is useful for storing, but we cannot touch. It is a virtual memory. Logically, we create it. How we create means we'll take the space from our hard disk and we'll create it virtually. That is swap partition. Okay, how to create this swap partition that I will show in tomorrow's session while installing the operating system. So while installing the operating system, creation of forward slash and swap are compulsory. Creation of forward slash and swap are compulsory in Linux. Forward slash is compulsory because it is a parent directory. Swap is compulsory to increase the performance of RAM. Swap is compulsory in order to increase the performance of RAM. Okay, and the size of swap is twice the RAM, double of the RAM. Size of swap is twice the RAM, means double of the RAM. So for example, if your RAM size is 1 GB, if your RAM size is 1 GB, you can create swap partition 2 GB. You can create swap with 2 GB space. And that space you can add to your RAM. See, now your RAM is 1 GB, you're adding extra 2 GB means total 3 GB. When 3 GB capacity is there in your RAM, so using 3 GB space, it can send the data, it can receive the data. So when it is using 3 GB space, your work performance will increase automatically. Right. So, forward slash and swap are compulsory partition. Forward slash we create with 10 GB and swap it is compulsory and the size of swap is twice the RAM, double of the RAM. And next one is only these two are compulsory partitions in Linux. Okay, and next one is /boot. /boot is not compulsory, it is recommended partition. Boot contains what? Bootable files. It contains bootable files. So while installing the operating system, what we do is we'll create /boot and we'll give the space between 200 to 500 MB space because that space is sufficient. We'll give the space between 200 to 500. So when we give the space between 200 to 500, only using that space, it can store bootable files. So if you are trying to store any personal data, something, it will not allow because there is no space there. So when there are only bootable files while loading, it will load only that particular files. Only for that reason, we'll fix some size. What space is required for bootable files, that space only will fix there. Okay, so for that, it is recommended. /home is recommended. Next, /home is recommended. Why /home is recommended? It is not compulsory to create. It is recommended. What is the purpose of /home? We discuss it, right? /home contains boot user directories. User data is stored under /home. We discussed. It means what? Whenever user logged in and normal user is creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under home. So now assume we don't created home separately. So under / it automatically creates home. We don't assign any space separately for home. So then what this home will do? It is under / right? So whenever home required, whenever something data is storing under home, it takes the space from / and it stores the data. Assume there is 10 GB space in your / already 8 GB space is completed for OS. There is only 2 GB left. Okay, for all the directories, it uses the 2 GB. Whatever directory is storing the data, they can store the data between the 2 GB only. So now in home, if any user is trying to store something data which is of 10 GB, 15 GB, they cannot store the data because that much space is not there in / So home cannot store the data. That is the reason why installing the operating system /home is recommended. So that whenever users are trying to store something, they can store the data. If you give 500 GB to /home, using 500 GB space, users can store the data like that. No, you don't have any normal users because it is your own laptop. You're logging as a super user, means administrator, and you are storing the data. In that scenario, we don't no need to give space for home. That is totally based on your requirement only. And /usr and /var are recommended in server pieces. They are recommended in server pieces. See, /usr contains what? Default applications which comes along with operating system. Var contains variable files, means system log files, right? So in server machines, they will run all the default applications. 24/7, they'll run all the default applications. So because they don't know which user required what application, so they will run all the applications by default. So for that reason, they'll give more space to /usr. So in order to run all the application without any interruption, they'll give more space to run all the applications. And /var also recommended in server machines. Why it is recommended in server machine? What I told, /var is used to store user variable files, log files, right? So how many users are logged in, how much process they are running, how many applications they are running, every information stores in it, right? So in order to store all the users information, /var required more space. If there is less space, means it cannot store the data. That is, if the data not stored, they cannot store all the users log files. So if they want to store every user log files, so they need more space for var. This is also recommended in server machines. So these are the recommended partitions. Compulsory partitions are / and swap. / is compulsory because it is a parent directory. Swap is compulsory to increase the performance of RAM. Okay. So file system hierarchy, we already completed. These all the notes, whatever I explained, these all the notes I will share to Telegram, as I told you. Once you registered, ask them to add you into the Telegram. So you will get all these notes. I will upload the notes to your Telegram. So in tomorrow's session, I will show how to install the operating system. But where I install the operating system means in virtual machine, I will install the operating VMware software. See, if you want to practice Linux, if you want to practice shell scripting means, first of all, we need an operating system, right? So first I want to install the operating system. But just for practice purpose, you cannot remove your Windows and you cannot install Linux operating system. because more data is there in Windows machine and you're very comfort as of now in Windows. So just for practice purpose, you don't want to change the operating system, right? So in that scenario, there is a software called virtual machine. So this is VMware software. So like this will be there. Here you can create virtually one computer. Here you can create virtually one computer. So there you can install Linux operating system. In virtual computer, you can install Linux operating system. So first download this VMware software. Okay. So if you when you join in Telegram group, I will share these links. VMware link and ISO means operating system means this all. I will share there. From there also you can download and install. As of now, I'm just giving information. If you have Windows 7, install VMware 12 Pro. If you have Windows 8, install VMware 13 Pro. If you have Windows 10 operating system in your machine, if you have Windows 10, install VMware 15 Pro. If you have Windows 11, install VMware. You can install VMware 16 or 17 Pro. But I will recommend 16 Pro only. So download it. There's just this is small software you can download from Google, and installation is also easy only. Next finish. So once you install, if you open, the screen will be like this. Okay, so here you can see create a new virtual machine. You can see this option. Or if you click on this machine here means, sorry, one moment. If you click on this file means here also you can see new virtual machine option. Okay, click on this file. Here you can see new virtual machine. Or if you click here, from here also you can create virtual machine. Means we are creating one computer. Virtual machine means virtually we are creating one computer. I already created computers here. If you observe, it is showing. Okay. So if you want to create your own computers, how many computers you want to create, you can create it. Say for example, I will show. Create new virtual machine. Click here. Next. So select I will install the operating system later. Select this. Next. So what operating system you want to install? You can select that operating system. I want to install Linux. Because using this virtual machine, you can also install Windows or other operating systems, whatever you want. So I want to create a virtual computer for Linux operating system. Next. Virtual machine name. If you want, you can give any name, whatever name you want. And location to store data of virtual machine. So if you have multiple partitions, select the partitions where you have space. Example like this. I selected my D drive. Make a new folder. Click on it. Also, I'm giving something name I give like this. Okay. Next. How much space you want to give for this? I want to give 40 GB space. So I want to create as a single file, store virtual disk as a single file. So I'm taking 40 GB space from my hard disk and I'm creating one folder for Linux. This is for hard disk. This is the hard disk for Linux. I'm creating 40 GB hard disk for Linux. Next, finish. That's it. Virtual machine is created. So assume it is now computer. This is one computer, but what is the difference means we cannot touch it physically. That's it. The computer is created with 1 GB RAM, one processor, 40 GB hard disk, the space what I gave there. So that it is using for hard disk. Now, after downloading VMware, create a virtual machine like this. Then download ISO image also. What is ISO image? Linux operating system image. Download. Okay, so once it is downloaded, click on CD or DVD and select use ISO image file. See, when you are doing installation in your hard laptop or desktop means we connect pen drives or DVDs in order to install operating system ISO bootable images, pen drives or DVDs we connect, right? So here we are downloaded that image and we are selecting that location. So select this use ISO image and where the ISO image is in, just select that path, click on OK. That's it. ISO image is selected. Now, if you click on power on this virtual machine, OS installation will start. Okay, so how to install the operating system that I will show in tomorrow's session. So if you can download VMware software and create it, you can do it. Just same procedure, you can create a virtual machine. Is this clear? How to create virtual machine is clear to everyone? Is that clear? How to create virtual machine? See, if anyone are not clear, you can message me or you can ask me. I will show not only this. In further day after tomorrow OS installation, I will show, right? It means practical started. Regularly practicals will be there. So any doubts, you can ask me here. You can message me or you can ping me on the Telegram group also. You also get the recording videos as I told you. So you can follow the recording videos. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Remember that you are paying. If you have any doubts, you have right to ask. Remember this point. And you are planning to join, you are willing to join the courses because you want to learn something. You want someone help for you. So that is the reason you are coming for the online classes or offline, whatever it is. So utilize it properly. So tomorrow I'll show how to install the operating system. So this is for today's session. So as this all small topics only. Okay. So day by day, once coming the topics, times will be increased. Once the session OS installation is completed, like practicals will be there. Some specific practicals I will show you. After finishing that day's practical only, I'll complete the session. Okay. So thank you for the session. We'll meet tomorrow. If anyone have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave the session.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
Pranam.
can we use Ubuntu instead of, VMware, whatever you are telling? Ubuntu is fine or it has some issues with it?
No, try to practice on Ubuntu shell scripting. Actually, our purpose is shell scripting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, try there.
So Ubuntu will not be good, ma'am. I'm just asking because in my organization, mostly we are working on Ubuntu.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. You just practice it. Most of the commands works in Ubuntu, Unix, Linux. Most of the commands works. Only
And
view is different.
okay. And is it like the command lines are a bit different in Ubuntu as compared to Red Hat?
Yes, some commands difference will be there. If it
Oh,
is not working any command at the time, if you let me know, I will guide you. Do you have your own laptop?
yeah, ma'am. I'm having my own laptop.
Okay. So there, try to install VMware software and practice. Install Ubuntu and install Linux also.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. I'll try that.
Yeah, for better practice.
Yeah, ma'am. No problem.
Yeah.